Hey guys, this is Eric with Destiny Auto Diagnostics. Today I'm just rambling about the auto parts when it comes to diagnostic vehicle. Okay, so here's the thing, man. Um, During the week I have three cars that they took it to either AutoZone or Riley's, and they say the diagnostic where they hook up the scanner, and they give you a paper, and supposedly that's the problem. Okay. So, case number one, I got a 2017 Honda Fit where the code was P0420. So, the customer came in here and he's like, hey, how much do you charge to replace all the injectors? I'm like, yeah, I mean, this X amount of money. If I may, I ask, why are you replacing them, right? So he comes and say, well, I took it to AutoZone and, the guy at the counter put the scanner and you know a code P0420 came on and he told me to just replace injectors. He gave me a paper and that will solve the issue. I'm like, okay, no problem. So I was like, are you sure you want to do this, man? Because injectors are pretty expensive, the labor is going to be expensive. Why don't we just do a diagnostic first and then we go from there? Alrighty. So came to find out, P0420, you guys know what it is. It could be bad injectors. I know that, because of a lot of fuel dumping into the catalytic converter, messing up the whole system. Okay, I know that, but with that you will have symptoms like black smoke, uh, running problems, things like that. This car did not have any problems except for the P0120. Okay, so I came, I read the parameters on the O2 sensors, and they both had the same temperature. You guys know what it is, right? A back catalytic converter, because it's supposed to be lower than the upper stream, right? Because supposedly it's filtering it. So I did not see that. Either way, I came, got my thermal camera just to see how the catalytic was performing, and same thing, So just two confirmations. I took out the O2 sensor to see what if it was reading fine, or if there was something wrong with it. No, everything led to a catalytic converter. Either way, I was like, hey man, your catalytic converter is bad, you need to replace it. Unfortunately, this is I would suggest original, but original came to almost $3,000 on parts alone. So it is what it is. But here's the thing: had he not done the diagnostic, we would have spent almost $1,000 on parts and labor, and that wouldn't have fixed the problem, right? So that's one, right? So here's another issue: a 2007 Toyota RAV4. He came because of coil number four supposedly uh, was misfiring, right? So same issue. They took it to AutoZone. They did the diagnostic on the vehicle, in exclamation point, right? But they did the diagnostic. They told her that she needed a spark plugs and she needed coils. Okay, so she was about to buy them, but she knows me. I don't work with her a bunch of times, and I came. I like let's do a diagnostic first because that's a lot of money as well. And long and behold, here it is again. The vehicle had about 15 codes, man. 15 codes, all referring to open circuit on the system. It said open circuit on call number one, or call B, F, A. All of them coils, and then the cooling temperature was open circuit. Then the fan was open circuit. Everything was freaking open circuit. Alright, so that's another thing, man. Had I done the sparklers and the coils, it's a 2007 Toyota RAV4 with the B6. We're talking about 800 to 1,200 bucks on parts and labor. That would have been thrown out, just dumping parts in it, pretty much, man. So I saved the customer some money. My diagnostics here in Los Angeles is 150. The first hour, and then up to 5 hours, depending on what I find and how long I take, right? The thing is, I do find the problem most of the time within the hour. But you know, this is another case where you cannot trust auto parts, man. They're not mechanics. They are not mechanics. You're crazy if you're taking your car to an auto some store parts. You know, there wouldn't be mechanics outside, man. There would not be any mechanics outside. You know, but you know, I guess people have their own opinion. They have their own thoughts. You know, but honestly, I'm not saying everybody, but most of us mechanics, you know, we do try to be fair with the customer. We do try to find the problem. You know, I know, you know, we are people. We will misdiagnose sometimes because I'm not saying I'm perfect. I am not perfect. There's times where you will misdiagnose. It doesn't matter how many years you're in the field. It doesn't matter, you know, how much you've studied. I keep studying, man. You know, I've been doing this for 15 years. I go to school every 2 to 3 years, you know, to update myself, and I still have so much to learn. You know, just because technology just keeps improving and improving and improving. Either way, you know, this, you know, more of the story, man. Do not try to compare an AutoZone plug and play scanner to an actual diagnostic. You know, actual diagnostic is a procedure where you do testing. Let's say it's a misfire. You check the coil, you check for compression, you check the injectors. You know, if you are somewhat advanced, you do a cylinder laydown test on the system just to make sure, you know, that there's nothing going on that cylinder. There's also the testing of the computer, you know, if it's electrical. So you got all of these things, man. You know, it's just not, how do I say this? Um it's just not plug and play. You know, sometimes you will do that because you know you read the parameters. Okay, I find the problem, no problem. But most of the time, you do have to do testing. Okay. So with that being said, take care, guys. You know, thank you for everybody that's following me. You know, help me grow the channel, man. You know, I am trying my hardest to, you know, teach the people, advertise myself on TikTok. You know, if and I'm over here, man. If you guys have any questions regarding vehicles, I'm here, man. You know, I'm not an asshole. You know, I do try to help people out because this economy is horrible. You know, but you know, we'll do what we can. So don't trust the AutoZone store. Don't trust O'Reilly's, man. That's not diagnostic. They're not technicians. They're just auto parts stores. You know, and to be honest, it's more convenient for them to sell parts, even if it doesn't fix the problems. Alrighty, take care, guys. Bye bye.